Building Stronger Families in Challenging Times. The Naples Alliance for Children presents Art Projects for a Rainy Day. Today we're going to look at what projects you can do at home to have fun with your kids. And I'm welcoming today Rona Steingart, who is a local artist and art educator. Rona, so glad to have you here, and you're going to put me to work.
I am, and thank you for inviting me, Myra. I feel very strongly as an art educator that appreciating nature is a very important lesson to teach children. And one thing we all do in Naples is we go down to the beach, right, Myra? And,
yes, and collect shells.
Right. And I have a collection of shells that are really very, very beautiful. I'm lucky enough to have this wonderful sand dollar that I borrowed from my friend Doris because she's a marvelous shell collector. There are shells of all sizes and shapes. And it's a rainy day in Naples, and we as grandparents or as young parents might have children visiting, and we have our own families, and it might be a fun thing to do an art project on a rainy day.
And it doesn't even have to be a rainy day.
That's true.
It may be a day when you want the kids to stay out of the sun or just have some fun doing something with the family.
Absolutely.
And can Dad get involved?
Oh, and how? And we kind of design these programs, or these projects, for children of all ages. So if you have a little 3-year-old, they can sit down and participate, and so can the teenagers. So we're trying to present things that are very, very versatile.
Okay, so let's get started.
Okay. Everybody's got lots of family photos piled up in their houses, and one thing you can do that's very much fun is make a commemoration of a holiday. This is Thanksgiving, and what I like to tell people is you can take your regular photographs. These are my actual prints. You can go to one of the copy places, and they're on every corner practically, and make a photocopy. And as you can see, the photocopy is almost as good as the original, isn't it, Myra?
And sometimes I know with me, if you're computer literate or even not computer literate, you can take these and make copies right at home.
That's right.
With your computer.
That's right.
It's a great way of doing it, not ruin the originals.
Right. So this is what our first project is going to be all about. And you can also, if you have a little bitty picture like this, you can ask them to blow it up. Can you do that at home on your computer too, Myra?
My scanner does. Some do, some don't, but
okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
But that you can really, it's to save the original picture, unless you have duplicates. It's nice to do that.
It is. And some people have old antique pictures of great-grandparents, grandparents, and so on that you might want to use in a family tree collage. And the best thing to do then is to take them and have them copied and then use them as part of your collage. Then you have the whole family, or you can build it any way you like. So I did some collages like this. I just put them together because it's more economical. These cost about $1 a sheet, and this way I have 4 or 5 pictures on a sheet. So, Myra, you brought pictures of your grandchildren.
I brought pictures. Now, if I had my grandchildren home, I would probably ask them to pick the pictures, but I just went into a box and got pictures. So I have some, and I have my dog, too, which has to be on every picture.
The family dog is so important, or cat, or whatever animal you have.
Or maybe a cow or a horse. Now, what do I do with the pictures?
Okay. What's the name of one of your grandchildren?
Let's go with the youngest, Barry.
Barry. Okay. Did you cut out some letters?
Yes, I did cut out some letters. Okay.
Now, Myra, we're going to pretend that you're the child, and we'll kind of walk through this collage process, okay?
Okay.
Collage is a French word. It means to paste, and so it's a very simple process. So, Myra, pick out whatever color you like. I have a pad of construction paper here, and you've got the letters of Barry's name.
Let's just take the top one. Green.
Okay, that's good for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Right, and you're looking for your pictures.
Okay.
And
now, I can just pick pictures. And now, I'm at home, and I'm doing this on the kitchen table or something, and I know I have some paper here, so I'm going to put some paper out.
Good thinking. Saves you a lot of cleanup. And we chose materials today that are easy cleanup, that are absolutely safe to use. You all have this product in your house, Elmer's glue, and for the second project, we're going to be using that. For this one, we're going to simply use paper and a glue stick. You can buy this at any grocery store, drugstore, or art supply store. And even a child as young as 2 can use it, because if they smear it on their clothes, no problem.
Can I overlap pictures?
Yeah, and how?
Do I have to cut the pictures or do anything? See, I've got a ragged piece on this one.
If you want to, you can, but I think what might be more fun, Myra, would be to glue it on and then maybe put another picture up there where it's raggy, and you can try to make it kind of interesting.
All
there
right.
you go.
I'm going to need a scissor.
Okay.
I just need a scissor.
There you go. Glue sticks are marvelous for all kinds of home projects, so it's good to, when you're at the supermarket, throw a couple of them in your cart, and the children love to use them. They don't last too terribly long, but it's a real good product. While Myra's cutting, and then she's going to start to make her design.
Now, if you just have not that long, this is more of a prolonged project, right? I mean, it's going to take how long for us to do it? I'm doing it.
You can do it in 5 minutes, or you can take a very long time. You can do a whole family album if you have the pictures, and the children can organize them by mother, father, grandparents, and their own family, and they can do their uncles and aunts and their cousins on another page. They can take a great big piece of paper, and they can do a great big family tree. There's many ways to do it. And the beauty of this is a 3-year-old can do it. They can lose interest in it after 5 minutes, and they still have a nice project.
And what do you do with these things?
Oh, you can frame them and hang them up in the house. You can put them into a book form. You can make photocopies of it and send it to the other people that are involved in the collage. There's all kinds of things that you can do.
What about calendars?
Calendars is good.
Okay.
You see ads. That looks wonderful, Myra. Do you want to glue some of those down?
Okay. Now, what do I do after I glue them down?
Well, then you should be pretty much finished with it. I see you've got a picture of your dog.
Now, where do I put? I've got this Barry thing. Where do I put?
You're going to put his name right under Barry.
Under Barry.
Can you find him?
Where the heck is Barry?
Well, while you're looking,
Barry. Now,
then you don't need to put Barry's name on it.
All right, we'll forget about Barry. All right, now I'm going to paste this down here.
Right.
And then what can I do with it after? I'm not going to take the time to paste down.
All right.
That's okay.
Sure.
If I want to, then I've got it pasted down. Then what do I do? Is that the end of it?
Well, that is the end of it if you want it to be the end of it. If you want to take a hole punch holes in it, and do another one with using more of your photographs at another day, on another rainy day, or when you want to have a quiet activity, this can be an ongoing activity for quite a long time, looking at your family pictures and using them.
Now, you mentioned way back when, before we were doing the show, that maybe you could put it in a frame.
You certainly could.
And I know my one daughter-in-law, she does a collage, a frame of a year in their life.
That's a great idea.
And she has it down in their rec room.
That's a great idea.
Really nice. So I was just trying to think of, I've also seen where people get, for favors they put on for events in a family.
Well, here's Thanksgiving.
That. Okay.
And so now you can look back. For instance, this picture is at the Shy Wolf Sanctuary in Naples, which was an interesting thing that we did one day. And then we had a Thanksgiving dinner cooked by my nephew, and here are some other pictures of the family together. And so this is a wonderful record of Thanksgiving 2006.
Okay, now we've got this. We got glue all over the place.
Okay.
It's some big mess, particularly if you have a 3-year-old, because
Right.
would you be helping a 3-year-old with the glue or just let them go?
I think it's a great idea if the 3-year-old has the fine motor skills, and this is a great way to teach fine motor skills. When you give your children art projects to do at home, you're really helping them educationally, as you know as an educator. I myself like to have children be as independent as possible, and if it's messy, who cares? It's their work.
Because you have the paper around.
Absolutely.
They're in old clothes, and
That's right.
it's washable.
It's totally washable.
Okay, so do you ever bring other artwork into this?
You certainly can. You can work on a larger scale, paper or tag board, which you can buy at almost any drugstore. You can get into this size if you want to. If you're going to do it in frames, then it's a good thing to cut in a 9x12 frame or a 12x16 or something ready-made. In fact, I always like to buy the frames first and then cut the paper to fit the frames.
Okay.
Saves a lot of money.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I just so we can get as much into this as possible. Okay, we've done the collage. We're using it for all sorts of things, not just putting up on the fridge.
Absolutely. It becomes much more meaningful when it's in a frame. And the children will love coming over, or if they're your own children, going and actually looking at the collages they made. And just think about this. When you're 9 and you look back at what you did at 3, you can say, wow, look what Grandma or Mom still has my 3-year-old collage up. And now I'm doing something that's much more sophisticated. It's multicolor. I've drawn on the paper, and I've done other things.
So it can show not just in picture form, but in the sophistication
Absolutely.
of how they're using their mind and their
fine motor.
Fine motor. Thank you. You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move along. Now, we've had days at the beach. We all collect shells. We bring bags of them home. And then what do we do with them? They just kind of sit on the shelf and they get dusty. So I have a group of very, very beautiful shells. And I started a couple of projects because of the time. Now, if you're working with a little 3-year-old, it's a good thing to give them a small surface to work on. Small jewelry box. It's kind of old. And Myra, you are going to finish this. And I also had this nice plastic mirror around. Now, what mother wouldn't love to get this for Mother's Day or for any other occasion? The method of gluing is, I'm going to walk you through the process. It's very easy. You use Elmer's glue watered down just a little bit so that it's kind of the consistency of a cream. It's kind of not real thick, but it makes it much more easy to use when it's watered.
Let me just see. It's, okay, not sour cream.
It's like
cream, not even cream for the coffee, but just water with really watered down, from what I can
pretty
see.
watered down.
Real watered down.
And then,
well, what's this I'm using?
That's a sponge brush. Now, that's if you have it around the house, that's a nice thing to do. Any paintbrush will work, and I just have Kleenex. Now, Myra, the first thing you're going to want to do, because your box is made out of paper, things are going to adhere well. So take the Kleenex, kind of shred it up, dunk it into the glue solution, and then put it onto the box when it's gluey.
Oh, my gosh.
This is fun. You're going to get your fingers in it.
I love to get my fingers. But now, what if a person doesn't like to get their fingers in there? The kids, it's a good idea to get the fingers. Now, do I use this? I just plop it down?
Just plop it down on the box.
It's supposed to be all soggy?
Pretty soggy.
The whole thing, so I have to turn it over.
Right. Don't press it too much, though.
Oh, no,
keep it kind of fluffy.
I would never press it. I'd go fluffy. Now, a kid may be... Is there some way, if you don't want to get that, some parents don't like to do this, can you just put the Elmer's glue on directly or not?
No, it's too thick, and it's not very malleable. It has to be...
okay, so you need it with this.
Right.
Okay, now what do I do
Now
with...
choose which shell you want to put on to the paper.
Let's see. Let's take this one. It seems to fit. And then I press that on?
Press it on really well so that the Kleenex that's soaked in the Elmer's glue solution will stick to the back real, real well.
It sticks.
It sticks. Now, you don't want to handle it too much because it takes a couple hours.
Okay.
Now do another one.
Now, some kids don't like to do get their hands all.
Then you can use the brush to kind of,
Ugh.
you can lift it with the brush. You can put the Kleenex in when it's dry, and then you can lift it out with the brush. Try that.
I'm going to put the Kleenex in.
That's it, and then lift it with the brush.
And lift it. Now, this would take a little bit more dexterity.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
A 5-year-old or up probably could do that, but a little kid loves to put their hands in the mixture.
Oh, yeah, I can see this all over the place. This would be really fun. Okay, I'm going to put this one down and squish it.
Okay, good.
And I'm going to get, I need a little one. This one, I love these.
Oh, I do too.
I don't know what they call them, but I like them.
Well,
anyway.
that brings up something else, Myra. What a fun time to introduce a book on shell identification. It's a pretty shell. Let's look it up. Let's find out what kind of animal lived in it.
No, Rona, this is not sticking.
I know, because I wanted you to find that out. You need a flat surface. You might have to stuff some of the Kleenex into that shell, and you've got to put it down so that it's pretty flat.
Okay, I'm going to smush it in there.
And then stick it down and see if that doesn't work. And maybe kind of line it up against another shell so it'll support it until it's dry. Okay.
There. That is very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You might have to do a little experimentation.
Okay, now we didn't have a mess with the pictures. This is mess.
Right.
So what we do is, do we just take this and run around the kitchen, or maybe we could just take it on the piece of paper and move it with the piece of paper?
That's right. We put our 3-year-olds...
Because we have to set up dinner tomorrow.
Well, it'll be dry in about 2 hours.
It will.
Now, Myra, say you want, one of your older children want to work on plastic. You need to cover the plastic with paper so that the other paper that is going to be embedded is going to actually adhere. So if you just want to cover a little bit of that purple plastic and then put another shell on it.
What am I going to cover it with?
Kleenex, so that it has a paper surface.
Just smished up Kleenex?
Smish it on, and then you can put
I'm smishing it.
Yeah, you can
lots of Kleenex.
Put it into the glue solution.
Well, I'm just thinking that maybe with a little kid or one that it gets to be like the parents going, oh my gosh, I got all this smushy stuff all over, that maybe the kid can do the smushing.
Absolutely. And they love to do it.
And then they will put it on here, and then you can do, I'm not smushed enough. Have to smush more. Okay.
There you go.
Smush, smush. And then I put that'll adhere on there.
And then put
it's kind of
shell.
Just like the box.
Exactly. It's the same thing, but I just want to show you that if you're doing this at home, it won't stick to plastic very well unless you put paper on it.
Okay, in other words, the thing is, I'm not being very artistic, but right now...
You're showing how to do it. Very good. Very good, Myra.
And some kids aren't, but that is very artistic.
Isn't that attractive? Now, what mom wouldn't like to get that for Mother's Day?
Oh, she'd love it.
Or grandmother.
The grandmother particularly would like that. So Mother's Day is Mother's Day, Christmas,
whatever holiday.
Hanukkah.
Absolutely. Any holiday
whatever.
that you need a gift for.
Or birthdays.
Can we talk about the educational value?
Yes, please.
All right. Good job, Myra.
Thank you. And that's important to tell me because that really makes me feel good.
Lots of positive reinforcement.
Okay, so tell me about what we're getting out of these projects. How are we helping the kids?
Okay, we're helping them in a couple of ways. We're using something that they found. They chose these shells at the beach, and they have become interested in perhaps shell collection. It's a nature thing. You can turn it into a story. We can make up a story about maybe the sand dollar that this used to be. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, it's a beautiful shape aesthetically. It's beautiful.
I love the sand dollars.
They're
fun to find, too.
Aren't they? And look at the textures and the colors, and that's something else you can teach. Sensitivity to color, texture in nature. It can jump off into all kinds of nature study, maybe birds. You've done the sea, now maybe we can do water birds, so that you can move that right along. Now, for a little 3-year-old, it's wonderful. Eye-hand coordination, crunching the paper. You're teaching texture. You're teaching glue and the scientific properties of that. And as the child gets older, you can get into much more sophisticated color composition contrast.
Now, with a little kid, Hand-mouth coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Is the glue okay for them?
It's okay if they get it in their mouth. There's nothing in Elmer's glue or these glue sticks that can hurt a
So
kid.
the parent doesn't have to worry about that. It's just, and I noticed what I just did after it got a little bit, shall we say, gluey. You can always, with newspaper, you can always just keep folding and putting things on top to keep it clean and then into the trash.
Right, and after our project's dry, Mom can throw the newspaper in the garbage, and she's got the children have their beautiful projects.
And what about the containers that you do this in? Would you use disposable? Or
I
what?
always like to do reusable. I always like to think about our ecology, and this is something from the deli department of a grocery store, and I save those because they come in very handy for art projects.
And I think you brought up something else, that art can go into ecology, into the environmental issues.
Absolutely.
That you can talk about that. You can bring so many things in. You can be as complicated as you want,
right,
or you can be as simple.
Right.
Now, talking simple, Mom is working, Dad's working, child is at daycare, Mom comes home exhausted, fathers, and they need time together too.
Absolutely.
When do you do these art projects? Are there some little, like, 10-minute things they can do?
Well, you can do a collage very quickly, and say a holiday, say Christmas has just gone by, and you've gone to have your pictures developed, or you've developed them on your own computer. Now's the time to do it. Gee, Christmas is still fresh in your mind, and you're still very excited about the gifts that you got as a child, or that the family may have gotten. They may have gotten a new TV set. You want to show that. So you think, well, let's do something about Christmas from this year. Let's have that as a record. Let's do something we can put in a frame and hang up someplace in the house.
And what about getting ready for a holiday, Thanksgiving or whatever? Do you have suggestions maybe for table decorations, for
Absolutely.
something, or home things, or take something over to a friend's?
Absolutely. Go out in your yard and get some palmetto branches and get some of the there's beautiful leaves on our trees here in Florida, and we're lucky. We have nature growing and blooming 12 months of the year, all the time. So there's just a marvelous, you can do a little simple bouquet of just branches, twigs, and leaves that you can find right in your own backyard.
And what do you do with those?
You can put them together in a vase. You can do a centerpiece, because you can put those all together, take a little piece of picture wire or a piece of those twistums that come on breads and so on, put them together and put them in a little vase, and you've got a Thanksgiving centerpiece for your table.
And what about spray paint? That's not for the little kids.
Not for little kids. It's fine for older children, but I think spray paint has a lot of negatives. Also, you never want to use it in the house, and it's very, it can be very harmful to your system if you inhale it too much.
Now, what type of painting outside of, when the kids are little with the easel and the dad's shirt and you paint, what painting projects would you suggest?
Well, you can go into a craft store, and for about $1, you can get a little tube of acrylic paint. You can get every color in the rainbow, and it's really good not to buy 17 colors for kids to use. I like to suggest that people buy the primaries, red, yellow, and blue. Have the children experimenting mixing colors. How many different greens can you get by mixing yellow and blue together? And they'll have a wonderful time with that, and it's a very, very good learning experience. If you put a little more blue and a little less yellow, what kind of a green do you get? So these are all possible things that you can do.
And let's just, we made so many things that it's too bad. I'll have to finish them up. But are there some other things? I know we had talked before about some jewelry kids can make.
Yes.
They have to be a little older, because if you're going to make anything small.
Although it's fun. If you want to make necklaces out of macaroni or manicotti, manicotti is big, and it's got a big hole in it, and even a 3-year-old can string that through on a piece of ribbon. And so there's just a whole world of arts and crafts that you can make. You can go to the library and get books about it.
So now, where are the resources? You can go to the library. Do some of the craft stores have?
They certainly do, on things for different age groups. And another thing that's fun is to go and talk to the art teacher at your child's school and say, my child just loves to do this. What can we do? And they'll give you
that's
suggestions.
a great idea. Now, what about the art? There's the art league. Aren't there some art?
There are wonderful children's classes in the art leagues locally, and you can register your children with summer coming up. That's a great thing to do for children that love to do arts and crafts. Enroll them at one of the art leagues in town.
And just sometimes just going to galleries. Maybe you may not be the biggest gallery goer, but sometimes maybe it's fun to just see it through the eyes of the children.
And at the Naples Museum, they've got a great baseball show right now.
Oh, then that would be good. Although by the time this airs, the baseball show may be gone, but look, I'm sure there'll be other things that
right.
go on. Well, the time has flown.
Oh, dear.
You've inspired me. I'm going to do crafty things now, particularly the pictures. I think those are really neat to put those together. And Rona, I want to thank you for being with us. And if you need any more information on these projects or anything else, please call Naples Alliance for Children, 649-5260. Visit our website, www.napleschild.org. And you can receive information on this broadcast and also any of the other broadcasts or any of the other projects that we are doing. Thanks for being with us, and especially thanks to Rona for being here and showing us and opening up the windows to the art world.
Thank you for inviting me, Myra.
More than half of us are overweight. The advice experts agree on is to eat more fruits and vegetables as part of a healthy diet and be physically active. Eating 5 to 9 servings of colorful fruits and vegetables and being active every day will help our kids stay healthy and fit. Eat smarter, be active, and get healthy, America. Because the figures don't lie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 little piggies ready to play. The big pig is Pedro. Pedro Piggy. He's the big piggy.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Our story begins with a journey for knowledge. For research indicates that when a parent taketh a more active role in their child's quest for education, that child will be bestowed with higher grades and higher sense of being. Just a wee bit of time out of your meeting schedule is all it takes to show your allegiance.
Hear what your kids are saying. Get more involved. Join your local PTA.